Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyper Roll with Autarch. And since we've gone through the major builds that I see from this season, I want to go into what I call the dumb luck builds. And it's because these are builds that shouldn't be forced, but when you see the opportunity for them, you might want to go for them. For example, let's talk about Ghostly. It's a trait that you can add in to Bruiser Snipers because it's there. It is not one I would ever suggest pushing for, unless you end up in a situation where you can max it. Getting a Ghostly crest is one part of it, but you're going to need a second one in order to get to 8, and then you're going to need some luck on top of it, a lot of luck. But let's look at what Ghostly does. After you are hit or hit something 7 times, 2 specters go out, and they'll start to heal you, and who's ever haunted is going to take additional damage. It's kind of a neat, innovative trait, but it is not very strong early on. Don't expect to win with this unless you get a lot of 2-star champs. If you decide to go down this wacky path, there's a couple of different ways. One would be Sniper, as set up here, since Caitlyn is Ghostly. Or you could go for Reapers, because one of your strongest Reapers, which is Kayn, a 4 cost, is also Ghostly. So having an additional Ghostly Reaper wouldn't necessarily hurt. And why I say you need dumb luck is, well, we got an encounter that happened to give us a spatula, so now we have the ability to make an additional Ghostly emblem, and that will allow us to at least go to the 8 Ghostly, but again, you're not going to necessarily see a power spike until you can get some 2-star champs. For the second set of augments, the healing orb became the obvious choice, but there's a lot more going on. I made a Ghostly emblem using the spatula and a sword. Notice during the NPC round, we got another spatula, and then we get the Tome of Traits. Since one of the Ghostlies, Shen, is Behemoth, we can go ahead and grab Behemoth, turn Aatrox into a Behemoth, and then the reason we used Kai'Sa to make the Ghostly emblem on is because she is also Ink Shadow, so we get an Ink Shadow emblem that we can put on Kai'Sa. So right now, she's just holding a lot of emblems. So we now have a pretty decent front line and a fairly decent back line. We've gotten a lot of people up to 2 stars so they can hold on, and Kai'Sa's going to do a lot of damage since she is a 4 cost. And now that we're up to stage 6, we can have 6 Ghostly, which is not normally a trait you have at 6 because you don't normally have 2 Ghostly emblems that you can put out, so you're not getting the higher level champs. But at 6 Ghostly, you're gonna do a lot of damage. And after another waste of time, we have some anvils to go through, and the goal is going to be to tank up the front line a little bit so we can go ahead and grab things like Giant's Belts and whatnot to put on Illaoi, as she tends to be a pretty good tank even without 6 Ghostly. Just on her own, she's not bad, but when you get the healing that goes with Ghostly along with her natural healing from her ability, she's gonna be really, really hard to take down, and as you can see, she's just holding everything back and ultimately wins the fight for us. It is time for the final set of augments, and Ascension is looking pretty good to me because you can see how long we are lasting in these fights thanks to the front line. So we roll through the others, and then it's a pretty easy choice. We're going to get a lot more power as long as Illaoi can hold things up front. And you can see the plan go into effect here as we have a gold 3-star Garen who is also Porcelain. They are running a lot of Porcelain in this build, which Porcelain Sniper is usually pretty good, but everyone gathers around Illaoi as she is the most popular girl in school right now, but she's not having much of it, so she holds everyone off and allows us to win that fight as well. And during the NPC round, we found a Morgana and 2-starred Arcane, giving him a couple of hands of justice. So now at stage 8, we are at the 8 Ghostly. You can see it's still Illaoi really holding things up, but Kai'Sa is doing the most damage. Item-wise, Blue Buff is one of the best items for Morgana, and remember I said this is the Dumb Luck series. Yeah, we get our 2-star Morgana. And we will super speed some of these fights because this team at this point really just isn't fair. Spoiler alert, it's going to get much worse. But generally, if you can get 2 Ghostly emblems, then go for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily touch it. And after the NPC round, because we're in Scuttle Puddle, we get a lot of items. We're going to go ahead and grab the last Whisperer for Kayn. We get to 2-star and Udyr. which will allow us to pull out the Senna if we ultimately want to. Right now we're still ticking Sniper, and it's working, so we're holding on to it, and we give Morgana the adaptive helm. We've also picked up a 2-star Ashe, and we're getting more Kayns and Kai'Sas. Now at this point in the match, I'm starting to feel a little invulnerable. I haven't even bothered to put Udyr in, and we are clearing things out without much problem. The 8 Ghostly feels really strong, especially with all the 2-star champs. But if you happen to run into a Dr. Eeper, Dryad Reaper situation, yeah, that's going to be pretty strong, and they're able to get through us. However, we are still into the top 4. Now remember how I said this is the dumb luck game? Yeah, there's the dumb luck. We have a gold 3-star Kayn waiting for us on the other side of the NPC round. And let's just enjoy the moment as, yeah, there it is. I've also brought in Lillian not because she fits into the build, but because she happened to be exalted, and I figured, why not grab an Exalted if I could at that point? We switched Wukong for Udyr because I wanted Sage at that point, but I love looking back at these games sometimes and realizing I should have switched Senna out. Sniper isn't doing all that much, and of course, Kayn is just tearing other teams apart, but I would have kept Ink Shadow with Udyr, and he could have just helped the front line even more. And just a little about Exalted, I generally don't look for it unless I see I'm 2 of 3, then I might look for the 3rd. As we're heading into the 1v1, this is the team that decimated us before, the Dryad Reaper team. They've got a lot of extra health, but yeah, gold 3-star Kayn just is not going to stop. And they're not happy watching their team get completely decimated when they went through us before, and I apologized because, yeah, this was just dumb luck. I got the right emblems, managed to get a gold 3-star Kayn, and took out a solid build, and it was ultimately GG for everyone. We're going to do some more games like this that involve wandering trainers and augments and things that really, you know, work the RNG in this season. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.